June 18 approval of the meeting. Lawson, Councilwoman.
I approve the minutes.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead, second it. What is the procedure on that?
Typically a second and then an approval. And I do see Councilmember Murillo on now as well. So
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Councilwoman Murillo, can you second it for the, June 18 approval for the meeting?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, let's just go ahead. Thank you so much. So we can go ahead and start with the first agenda on item 4A. And staff member, can we go ahead take over?
Yes, good morning, all. My name is Emma King. I'm the manager of our homelessness division. And I'm just going to start with a quick update on the navigation campus. I'm going to talk about the construction side of things a little bit, and then I'll hand it over to Jim Gobelbecker, who's the executive director of Advance, and we'll talk more about the operator side of things. So I'm going to share my screen because I just have some photos of some of the construction going on, but we have been doing construction since about the beginning of the year, and we're slated to open in November. So we are fully running through that construction and really going as fast as we can. It's a tight timeline, but we are expecting to be able to get everything done by then. Can everyone see my screen?
yes.
Thank you. So the photo we're looking at right now is just the main entrance to the building where clients will come through. There's going to be a security desk in there. So they've been cleaning that out, and they're adding 2 additional rooms to this location for intakes that can be private, as well as they'll be adding a hot box to be able to put people's belongings into to mitigate bed bugs. So this is the large atrium area. This is going to be the day center space. So as you can see, it's quite large. So there's going to be a lot of space for people to hang out while they're waiting for maybe meeting with a case manager or some other appointment they might have going on. This is a great space for case managers to come out and find their clients, things like that. And as you can see on the left side, those windows, those are actually hotel rooms looking out. So also another great opportunity for folks to see the tier 3, and they might say to themselves, how do I get to that? How do I get my own hotel room? And I'll let Jim talk more about incentives and different tiers later, but just some of the layout in the day center space. And here's just another image of that space. There was a very large fountain in this area that we had to remove, and that took quite some time. And the wall we're looking at right now is going to be covered in a mural that should be starting any day now. And that's part of the Art in Public Spaces. This is going to be the pet area. This was formerly the pool, and so we had to fill it in. And this is just a picture of the floor being finished. So that will be, again, a kennel for any kind of pets folks have, which is often a barrier to shelter, is pets. So this is, I think, one of the more exciting parts when I've been there recently, the congregate and semi-congregate shelter space. So this was the large convention center space, which was just a huge room with partitions. And they've built, as you can see, some walls in there, and the walled-in space is tier 2, and the large open space is tier 1, where there's just going to be like cots on the floor for folks. And tier 2, as you can see here, there's a little bit more space for folks, and my next slide will show you exactly what folks will have, but this breaks it up a little bit. People get a little bit more space to themselves. There's a private entrance that only folks in tier 2 will have access to, and each person in tier 2 will have their own little pod, and that's what these photos are the individual pods that folks will have. So they'll have their own storage space, their own bed. Each of these pods has some access to plugs for electricity, so folks can charge their phones, do things like that in their own private space. So again, just some incentives for folks to move through the tiers. And it was exciting seeing these starting to go up. We have had to put in new showers for the facility. For tier 1 and tier 2, there was a plethora of restrooms, but they didn't have showers because it was just a convention center space. So that's a big undertaking that they've been working on. And here's just a picture of a few of them that are pretty much finished, which is, again, another exciting thing to have done. And I think this is my last photo. So this is just the fencing that they've started to put up around the entire site, just for a little bit more positive control over entrance and exits for folks. So it's a pretty robust fence. I think about 8 feet tall. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, we've been really doing a lot with construction and feeling good about where we're at. And I'm going to stop sharing now and pass it over to Jim if there aren't any questions about construction. All right, hearing none, Jim, take it away.
Yeah, great. It's a pleasure to meet you this morning. Jim Gobelbecker, Executive Director of Advance and the operator of the campus. We are excited now that we're entering the last few months of preparation for the campus. We have our program team working diligently on the flow and the welcoming environment that we want to be able to provide for people coming in. What we know is people can be better when they are treated with respect and kindness, and there's an environment that is welcoming. And we're very intentional about making sure that not only the staff that we're hiring, but also the flow of people as they're coming in is one that is inviting people to be able to not just be at a place where there's congregate shelter. We actually think of it more as a program where people can come into a day center. 100 people plus could be in the day center area in the picture that Emma had showed. And then in the housing aspect of things, we have cots for, we think of it as structured around 3 tiers. Tier 1 is cots. And there's a few hundred cots that would be available, separated by a wall on 2 different sides, male and female. And then we also have the pods that Emma was referring to and showing some pictures. We think of that as tier 2. Those are people who have decided that they want to be able to engage with a case manager. They're interested in maybe acquiring some training or interested in being able to be supported in finding employment. So working on resumes, making sure that there's a pathway to some level of sustainable employment. And with that, you get the pod area. You get meals at a different time than the tier 1 folks. But in that tier 2 pod area, you get a little bit more privacy and storage. And that's based upon looking at incentives and milestones that each person makes for themselves. So someone comes in, on the first day, they go to the day center, they begin to learn about everything that's available at the campus. which includes a navigation hall where we have community partners providing services, whether that's being able to get vital documentation, looking at workforce development, maybe access to physical health or mental health services. And so that space is for people to be able to receive those services. And if they're committed to be able to sit down with that case manager, get to that next level, then that's that tier 2. More privacy, storage, different meal times. And then the tier 2 can also be a part of a workforce development internship program that we're developing on campus for people to develop some life skills, particularly in the first 30 days before they might be referred or otherwise want to go into another kind of training program. And then tier 3 is the former hotel rooms. The tier 3 is for people who are working full-time. They've committed to sobriety. They want to continue to work with a case manager so that they can have life skills training in addition to addressing of the other issues that might be challenging in their lives, and also contribute up to 30% of whatever their income is to offset some of the programming, food, and other services that are being provided. Tier 3 has a different eating area. They also have a different entrance into the facility and a more of a private parking lot. So that when we're looking at milestones and incentives from tier 1 to tier 3, there's a progression each time. And we believe that they are attractive and ones that people are going to be very interested in order to be able to get on a path of self-sufficiency. That tier 3 also will have community rooms for people to be able to gather, share a meal together, watch a show together or a sports event together. And we will also have 20 respite beds on the first floor to be able to invite people who are being discharged from the hospital to stay for up to 30 days. They have to be able to take care of themselves. We're not going to have a full-time nurse on staff to take care of each of those individuals. But as long as they can take care of themselves, then they're welcome to stay there for up to 30 days. From start to finish, tier 1 to tier 2, someone could be there for a couple of years. From the moment of first engaging with a case manager and then finding employment and then retaining that employment in order to be able to stay in tier 3 and save enough money for that first and last month's rent and other life events that might happen along the way. I'll pause there to see if anyone has any additional questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jim. Floor is open for a question or recommendation.
And Chair Kassaw, this was just informational only. The Horns Committee had asked for about a quarterly update on the navigation campus as we move towards opening in November. So this was just kind of a status check and a informational check-in. So we don't need to move anything forward on this item.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate. All right.
Councilmember Kassaw, this is Councilmember Murillo. I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Chair Kassaw. I was just wondering, maybe I should ask this earlier. I apologize. Were there any unforeseen costs that we didn't previously budget for? If so, what were they?
Yeah, there have been a few, primarily based around the building being around for a while and us doing renovations on a pre-existing building. So the main one has been finding some mold in the walls that we've had to do some mitigation on, and I think some elevator costs. I think those have been the two primary ones that were kind of unforeseen costs. Yes.
Okay. It sounds like has that, I mean, obviously that has a budget impact. Sounds like we've addressed them. It hasn't made a substantive impact on being able to move this project forward.
That's correct. Yeah, we've been able to address it, and it hasn't made us slow down too much. And yeah, we're able to still do what we were planning on, and it hasn't stalled us too much. and we've been able to find some other funding sources in the process, and are still even looking at a few additional ones to help us with things like this.
Okay, great. Just another couple questions, Chair Kassaw, if I can.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I guess just like thinking about kind of the full life cycle of this, proposal and this project. And like what I just think like if folks are like re-entering the workforce, they're probably going to be working minimum wage jobs. And I like that we're giving folks the opportunity to save some money. I'm wondering have we, and what's the plan for kind of at the end of this, it ain't cheap to rent an apartment right now. We've had lots of issues with different slumlords taking advantage of people and vulnerable communities like immigrants, but also people who, are experiencing homelessness or formerly experiencing homelessness, kind of getting back on their feet. What are we thinking about? What is the plan for when people exit this program and they, enter the quote unquote market? Are we thinking about ways that we can support folks after this? I mean, I feel like that's going to be a gap.
Yeah, so the council member, what I hear is two things there. One is the ongoing support aspect. And so the answer there is yes. We want to be able to provide, we refer to it internally just as lifetime support. Anyone who's going through our programming and they want to be able to receive some kind of case management services or other guidance as they're leaving the facility and going into fair market housing, that we want to continue to be a resource to whatever those housing resources might be for any individual being challenged. Once a person leaves and they've established their next living situation, we want to be able to have them call back out to us and for us to reach out to them to make sure that things are going okay so that we can stay ahead of any potential challenges. Now, the overall market in terms of affordability of housing is going to be an ongoing challenge for sure. Am I going to defer to you to see if there are other city resources that might be available when we're thinking a little further down the line?
I mean, there's always the flex fund if someone's needing that little bit of help here and there. So for eviction prevention, that's always something folks can apply for, as long as they meet the qualifications.
I think this is more of like a systems problem. You know what I mean? And I know we're not in the business of, housing per se, but I just wonder, right? We already know that there are challenges in affordability, cost of living. That's going to be a problem. I have no doubt that we will support in the way that we can, but knowing that there is a gap in the market for affordable or attainable, whatever you want to call it, something people don't have to spend more than 30% of their income on. There's just not that housing. Like there's a gap. How are we working to address that gap?
Jessica, I
Yeah,
might have
council
you.
member.
Yeah.
Well, and you'll hear in just a minute and another item, right, about our community investment financing rounds, and we're doing what we can with the gap funding that we have to build more affordable units. We know we have several thousand gap in affordable units in Aurora. So we're addressing it from what we have control over at the city level with the funding that we have today to make those investments. But this project is not going to solve for the full lack of affordable housing, but I think it's stabilizing people, giving them the life skills training and workforce training, and any other sort of self-resilience training to be able to look towards being able to pay for market rate rent. They may not be able to right away. They may need to go into another transitional housing or another affordable housing, or, you know, obtain a voucher, things like that, to be able to fully get to the point of market rate affordability for rent.
So I don't have a question, but really I can't wait and excited for, you know, this navigation campus. Thank you for, you know, staff. You guys are been, you know, you guys been working hard. And I know I was having a connection problem, but my, you know, quick question is, are we still on the right track, you know, on the opening dates? Are we on the right track? So, but other than that, can't wait and excited and do appreciate.
Yes, we're still on track to open in November when we were planning.
Councilmember Kassaw, I just have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, and I don't know who this goes to, but when the council went to DC on our annual lobbying trip, the administration, the Trump administration, was invited to the grand opening. Is that still the case? Are we coordinating with the Trump administration to have them out when this opens in November?
Yes, so we are coordinating with both InterGov from the White House, as well as HUD directly, as well as state and county folks and other contributors to the facility that are, you know, more foundation and folks that have provided funding both for the renovations, construction, and the operations. So Councilmember Murillo, you'll see more information coming. I believe there was a tentative save the date sent out already to council. And then we will also be planning a public open house and a sort of public ribbon cutting for the next week. We know the surrounding business owners, the surrounding community, lots of different organizations within the community are excited to see this. And so we will have a public opening as well. So all those dates and information will be coming out. We have ongoing meetings, a meeting this afternoon, just sort of planning all those events at this point.
Okay, so
Thank
we
you.
can expect the Trump administration here. Great.
We are expecting leadership from HUD has confirmed. I don't know anything else about anyone else from InterGov with the White House.
Yeah,
Copy.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a big PR stint about it, but you know, I recognize that's not up to you or anything, but something we can expect in the future. That's all for me.
Okay, well, thank you. Is there, Emma? I mean, I would really love to stop by and visit before, you know, that is, you know, possible. I want, you know, I want to come and, you know, check on it to see if we can coordinate that.
Absolutely, we're happy to get a something on the books for that.
Perfect. I'll send you email. Is that okay?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll go ahead to the 4B, the next item, the 2025 Homelessness Service Notice of Funding and Opportunity. Staff member.
All right, you're really starting your morning off with me today, so this one's mine as well. So yes, I'm just talking about our Notice of Funding Opportunity. We do this every year, and it is we do it so we can fund some service providers who do homeless services in the city of Aurora. And we have several funding sources available. I'm having an informational session next Tuesday for any interested parties, and that should be in the newspaper at this point, advertising that, as well as advertising the dates that the application will be open, which is September 1st through October 1st. That application will be open. And this year we're splitting it into two categories, families and adults. So within that, for families, we'll have marijuana funds available. That's going to be $400,000. Home TBRA or tenant-based rental assistance. That's federal funds. That's going to be $200,000, and then additional federal funds of emergency solutions grant, and that will only be for the rapid rehousing and homelessness prevention part of the emergency solutions grant, and that's going to be $76,303 available. So total for families is I wrote this down wrong, is $676,303. That's the total amount available for family service providers this year. And then for adult service providers, we're going to have public safety dollars. That's local dollars. I believe that comes from red light cameras, and that's going to be $144,647 available for that. And then the rest of our emergency solutions grant for shelter will be $140,868. So total for adults available in this NOFO is $285,515. So we split it out that way because we've already slated $2 million for the navigation campus for services, which is why we have more funding going to families this year, because the navigation campus is only for single adults. So the total available in our notice of funding this year is just under $1 million, $961,000 odd dollars. So that is slated to open at the beginning of the month, and so you should be seeing that coming back to Horns likely in October or actually likely November. It will come back to Horns, as we'll need to be able to go through all of the applications and make some recommendations with our review committee. And with that, I'll open it for questions.
Chair Kassaw, this is Councilmember Lawson. Can you?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I have a couple questions. Emma, can you tell me, you said something in there about red light cameras. What are you talking about? We don't have red light cameras. So
Okay,
is that from past funding?
I misspoke on that then. That's not what it's from. It's the public safety dollars. It used to be called the Nexus Fund. Jessica, do you remember where that comes from? Is that like speeding tickets? And I just misspoke on that.
Yeah, historically it was kind of court fines and things like that. So one of them was red light cameras in the past, which funded the Nexus program. We do not have red light cameras. It is still, we changed the program to public safety funding, I think, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And so there's a small amount of money that still comes in to fund homelessness program and services. So that's where that's coming from, public safety dollars. So there has to be a nexus
How many
to public
people
safety.
will this fund? I mean, how many people will this support, families, and this money?
It depends on which agencies it goes to. We have a number of family service providers. So thinking about capacity, let me think.
What's the, maybe like, give me an approximate, like 10, 15, 20?
Families? Oh, it'd be much more than that. I'd say in the hundreds of families, depending on the agencies it goes to. Because with the rapid rehousing dollars, for instance, that can go out a lot faster because that goes to different family as well. And the same with the home tenant-based rental assistance, that will go to case management to get folks into housing and keep them housed. And then the marijuana funds is much more flexible, so that can go to any of those service providers. And between our several service providers, couple hundred beds, I think. I might be off on that. It's not that many. Nikki, I see you on here. Do you know what our hit count is for families off the top of your head?
I don't off the top of my head, but I can find it really quickly and put it in the chat.
Okay. And we can send that to you after Councilmember Lawson.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you, Chair.
So this is we're not announcing, right? I mean, are we gonna use the third party, the agencies? I mean, for this application.
For the application, it goes through the city through our neighborly software, and then I'll have a review committee made up of a little bit of city staff and then some outside partners like the counties and Metro Denver Homeless Initiative will likely ask to sit on that as well. So it's not just city staff reviewing those. Yes.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? All right, thank you so much, Emma. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So the next item is 4C, right? The Spring Community Investment Financing Program Round. And I believe it is Sarah, right? Staff?
Good morning. My name
Morning.
is Sarah Pulliam, and I am the Manager of Housing and Community Development. Andrew, do you mind sharing the slides, please?
No problem. Are y'all able to see it on the screen right now?
Yes.
So I'm here to share with you our community investment financing program for the 2025 spring round, the applications we received, and the purpose of the program. Next slide, please. So back in 2020, we did a housing strategy and we came up with some policies and found that we have a gap in the affordable or attainable housing here in the city of Aurora. And so we wanted to produce housing and utilize our federal funding to do so. Next slide, please. So the application process seeks to align with the housing strategy, identify housing that meets the needs of the community and serves the demographics here in the community. We want to do it in a cost-effective way and leverage the funding that we have. And then we also are looking at project type, the developers, their financial stacks, and are they compatible with the surrounding uses in the area that they're putting the housing? Next slide, please. So the spring timeline is here on the screen for you. We're now here at Horns, providing you our recommendations. And once we get recommendations for the recommendations leave Horns, we do what's called a pre-award letter. We'll bring the recommendations to City Council through the study session. And once we receive approval at City Council, depending on what those approvals are, then we'll send a final award letter. Next slide, please. So we had a review panel and it consisted of planning administration, finance administration, community development, and our citizens advisory committee on housing and community development, which is a required committee that HUD requires us to have so that they can review all of our HUD financing. Next slide, please. We received $25,743,930 in private activity bonds. So we had those all available for this SIF round. We had $2,053,715 in home funds available and $2,378,086 in CDBG funds, giving us $30,175,731 available for the total SIF round. The amount requested was $20,435,000, and the total amount awarded was $27,778,930. The total new units on this SIF round were 137, but the number the number that were already in the pipeline, meaning they came back again for another SIF round, was 200. So the total units in the application round was 337. Next slide, please. So here are the 4 applications and the funding requested. Sanctuary on Potomac requested $700,000 in home. The Stables requested $935,000 in home. Crossbar Commons requested $1.5 million in home. Montview Heights requested $17,300,000 in PAB, and Ashbury Park requested $4 million in PAB. The funding recommendations are $0 in home to Sanctuary on Potomac. They've received several funding rounds for that project, and it is currently under construction. The Stables, we recommended $935,000 in home. Crossbar Commons, we recommended $1.1 million in home. Montview Heights, we recommended 17.3 million in PAB, and Ashbury Park, we recommended the additional $8,443,930,000 in PAB. Next slide, please. So the stables is under the developer Grovewood Community Development. It's at 10,850 East Exposition Avenue in Ward 3. They're proposing 85 total units, and their income target is 80% AMI and below. They requested $935,000 in home, and we're recommending $935,000 in home. Next slide, please. Sanctuary on Potomac is an Aurora Housing Authority project at 1290 South Potomac Street. This is in Ward 4. It's 43 units, and they're serving 50% or below AMI. They requested $700,000 in home, and we recommended no dollars. They've received several rounds of funding, and they're currently under construction. Next slide, please. Montview Heights is under related affordable developer. It's at 14389 Montview Boulevard in Ward 1. It's 50 units. This is actually a preservation project. They are serving people at or below 60% AMI. They requested 17.3 million in PAB, and we recommend 17.3 million in PAB. Next slide, please. Crossbar Commons is under Mercy Housing Mountain Plains Development. It's at 15961 East Colfax Avenue in Ward 2. They're proposing 115 units and targeting incomes at 70% AMI or below. They requested 1.5 million in home, and we recommend 1.1 million in home. Next slide, please. Ashbury Park is under related affordable. Again, this is a preservation project at 10571 East Ashbury Avenue in Ward 4. It's 44 units. They are serving folks at 60% AMI or below. They requested 4.4 million in PAB, and we recommended 8.4 million in PAB. Next slide, please. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you so much, Sarah. Any question? Any question?
None for me.
Okay. None for me too, so.
And Chair Kassaw, this does need to be moved. We need a motion to move it forward to study session
All
for this
right.
item.
All right, motion to move.
I support.
All right, thank you so much. And
I support as well.
awesome, you got that.
I support.
Copy motion approved for a study session.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right, so the next item, there will be civic engagement, commission update from the staff member, 4D.
Thank you, Chair Kassaw. Good morning, all. My name is Jesse Byrne, Division Manager for Community Engagement. I'm here to provide an update on the Civic Engagement Commission. And just to recap, I had provided an update several months back, and within that update had shared with all of you that the Civic Engagement Commission had unfortunately dwindled, was on a decline, stagnant, dwindled to only 2 members at the time. There was a need for us to decide on either seeing if it could be absorbed into another commission, disbanded, but then there was a collective effort here to be able to see if a recruitment strategy would be able to yield more members. And so I'm here to provide that update, and I'm happy to share with all of you that through working on new recruitment content, sharing that recruitment content far and wide with all different types of audiences, we were able to have 11 new people apply to be on the Civic Engagement Commission. We also hosted information sessions and interviews, a couple of them a few weeks ago. Those were also very successful in having the applicants attend those and be able to learn more about what their participation on the Civic Engagement Commission would entail. They were able to ask questions, participate in some icebreakers and team builders, also participate in a very informal interview. We as in staff are working very closely with the chair and vice chair on continuing to inform those new applicants, and we're happy to report that 10 out of the 11 are going to be advanced for consideration by council for appointment onto the Civic Engagement Commission. We're very excited about these individuals as we got to speak with each and every one of them. This is a group of people that come from diverse backgrounds and all have a very strong passion for civic leadership, volunteerism. They have track records volunteering in Aurora communities. They're very excited to be able to partner with the city in providing feedback in terms of some of the needs that they see within their communities, as well as really roll up their sleeves and support different causes within the community as volunteers. And so they're excited. We're excited about them. And we're hopeful that council will be excited to hopefully appoint them. If we do have an appointment of these 10 new members, that will bring our total, when you count the chair and the vice chair, to 12. So 12 versus 2 this time last year is definitely a huge improvement. And so we're really looking forward to getting to see where we can go from here with this new group. We're going to be focused on more strengthened onboarding practices, retention practices with members, really clarifying what the purpose and goal is. This was some of the feedback that we got from past people who had did exit interviews and stepped off of the commission. So we're trying to learn from those past experiences. We've also heard from other commissions that they're kind of looking closely at the work that we're doing on the recruitment side and also on the strategy side to determine if maybe some of those types of strategies might be useful for them, as we know that commissions across the board within the city also have vacancies. So really glad that we can be able to provide this update, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Councilwoman Lawson.
So Jesse, thank you so much. I'm glad that the commission has gotten filled. I guess what I would like to know is, it would be nice to have representatives from each ward, like, somebody from a ward, just because of the interest and just because of just getting the feedback. The wards are different. I mean, we're looking at things from a city engagement perspective, but is that something for consideration in the future? Do we have mostly different wards in this pool of people?
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me add, I'm sorry. And also, if you can, consider to have some, kind of a user representation as well. That would be great to have, young kids involving on the civic engagement in the community. So that would be great as well, if you can answer it.
And what type of representation did you say, Chair Kassaw?
For the youth.
Okay. Yes. Those are both great comments, and you're both very aligned with the staff thinking on this. And so I'll first address Councilmember Lawson's question. We actually did that this round, Councilmember Lawson. We did track which wards they are coming from, and I would have to go back and look to see if every single ward was represented, but I do recall looking at that and seeing that at least 5 of the wards were represented, if not all 6. And so we are very happy with that ward representation, and we're happy to share that outside this meeting with all of you as well. We tracked that in the applications. We looked at their address, and our vice chair mapped out which ward the applicant was located in. And so that is something that we think is important in terms of ward representation. We want all communities across Aurora to be represented on the Civic Engagement Commission. And if we don't have all 6 this time around, we'll continue to focus on that recruitment. I would like, with the support of the chair and vice chair, for us to do another recruitment cycle next year. And I think maybe engaging by doing presentations on the Civic Engagement Commission at different wards might also help with those I was at your ward meeting recently. Councilmember Lawson would love to see us create more visibility for those residents that are in your ward about the Civic Engagement Commission in case any of them want to attend, and the same goes for any of the other wards. So that is something that we do think is important. We are tracking. Councilmember Kassaw, we don't currently have a plan to introduce youth, but that has been a topic that we've discussed. And I do want to mention that we are launching a new Youth Civic Engagement Academy. In fact, a lot of the adults that were recruited onto the commission came from this most recent cycle of the Adult Academy. So in other words, as we pilot this Youth Civic Engagement Academy, that might end up creating a pipeline in the future that when those youth are able to complete that program, and if they want to have an ongoing role as a commissioner on a civic engagement commission, that could be a possibility, either as part of the Adult Civic Engagement Commission or maybe even looking at a Youth Civic Engagement Commission. But we are creating that infrastructure right now as we speak. The Youth Civic Engagement Academy is currently planned for November. We're creating a lot more engagement with youth in terms of civic leadership. We just met with some high schools yesterday on this topic, and the principals are very excited. So we're moving in a great direction, I think, both on the adult and the youth side in terms of promoting civic leadership in Aurora's communities, looking at ward diversity, other different types of diversity, professional diversity, racial diversity. And it is something that we think is really important. I view it as critical to the mission of my division. So we're happy with the overall trajectory that we're on currently.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question for him? All right, I see none. So I think the last one, thank you so much, appreciate. So any miscellaneous matter for consideration? Go ahead, sorry. Last speaker.
So,
You breaking up. I don't know if that.
just echo, I had this question.
Can you hear?
Can you hear
I
me?
think I'm having an issue. Can you hear me?
I'll put my comment in chat.
Oh, okay. All right, you can try it right now. Okay.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to thank the team for their efforts in recruiting. That's such a huge jump in membership. And yeah, I'm excited strategies work for our other commissions as well. And was just echoing that I wanted to know and was hopeful there was a breakdown between the different parts of our. That's all. Thank you.
I'll be sure to share that out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so appreciate everyone. So any miscellaneous matter for the consideration stuff? For the update from the community members. I see none. So, well, thank you so much, staff member. It was a very, very good subject, the navigation center and the community engagement. We are all excited to see that navigation center. We do appreciate for the hard work. If none, so when is the next meeting?
That'll be September 17th.
September 17th. All right, so our next meeting will be September 17th at 8:30 a.m. and virtual. So then we are going to complete our meeting today. And thank you so much for being here.
To everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.